This is a solo forestry guide for rosewood trees. The old solo forestry guide was pretty well known and was popularized by Kribus's video, and I believe it was first found by Reddit user It's I will link to both of these in the description. If you're unfamiliar with the method, it involves cutting one of the trees and then world hopping after around 2.4 seconds or 4 game ticks. You're going to cut the tree again and then repeat this method for around 25 worlds. After all 25 worlds are prepped, so to speak, you're going to go back to your first world and start chopping the same tree, and it's going to fall instantly after the first log that you get from it, which has a pretty high chance to spawn a forestry event. After felling the tree, just prep another tree in the area and then hop to the next world. The previous meta was to do this with magic trees, which have around a 33% chance to spawn a forestry event when they're felled. With some ballpark math, I think rosewood trees have around a 40 to 45% chance, so quite a bit higher. The wiki has rosewoods at 85k XP per hour, whereas magic trees are not even half of that, despite having higher XP per log. And what this tells us is that rosewoods are over twice as fast to gather than magic logs are, meaning that it's going to be over twice as fast to actually fell the rosewood tree itself and spawn the event. There's a couple drawbacks to this method, of course. Rosewoods have much higher stat requirements than magic trees. You need 79 sailing to dock on Drumstick Isle, and then 92 woodcutting to actually cut the tree, compared to 75 woodcutting for magic trees, which is much, much lower. Because you can only do this on Drumstick Isle, you face a lot more competition, and other players cutting the same tree as you will cause the method to fail. One way to get around this is the World Cycle plugin on the plugin hub. You can give it a list of worlds to hop between, and if you find a world with another player on it, you can just get rid of the world from your list instead of having to memorize it each cycle and skip over it manually. Also, when you get to the end of the list, you can press the same world hop button and it'll bring you back to the start, so it's pretty convenient. I recommend using either the west or the north set of rosewood trees, and just not the trees that are close to the dock, because these are the most popular spot for other players. And even though you're far away, all of these trees are still within range of each other for forestry events, so other players on the same world as you will slow you down if they spawn an event before you hop to their world. You'll be no longer eligible to spawn your own event, and you're not eligible for the event that's currently happening. Finally, while this method is optimal for events per hour, I'm not sure if it's better bark per hour than the previous methods, particularly the magic trees in the Forsaken Tower, which Solo John made a video on here. Because of the limited space in the Forsaken Tower, the events that spawn have much smaller distance between them, and you can gather bark much more efficiently. Whereas for Drumstick Isle, you have a lot more space, and the events are a lot more spread out. So events like Struggling Sapling and Pheasant event are quite a bit more difficult to gather bark from as quickly. So I haven't tested bark per hour here. I was only here for the fox whistle, which I went 3x dry on. But if you're here for collection logs, then this is definitely by far the new best area.